Donald. He works for the New World Order too. In November, vote for me. Don't be a sheeple. It's time for Spawn Hunt. Let's fight this two-party tyranny, everybody. We stand for America's liberty, our equality, and a sustainability plan to keep our nation under budget. We're Americans, and this is America's Third Party. Welcome, and join the voter revolt. Right on. Hey, welcome. Welcome to America's Third Party, everyone. Good evening. Today we'll be talking about the amazing power of the monetary elitists that have controlled our country for so long through the Federal Reserve, a private corporation, and they control candidates like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and they will never get rid of the Federal Reserve. They will never get rid of this private corporation because they want it to continue to control the American people. So we are Americans, and we are completely challenging this private corporation and their control over our country. So what we want to do is end the Fed. We want to legalize marijuana. We want to get our country's budget to a zero deficit. And I posted a zero deficit plan at America's Third Party now. In case you're wondering, it's up there at the top on the main page. You can check it out. It's unlike anything Trump has or anyone else. And we even have a lot of things that Trump would never even think of, like a fair flat tax of 10-10, the 10-10 plan. But these are plans that are designed to help our nation get ahead of an incredibly corrupt internal problem within our government. You see, without a third party, we're never going to get a control or any accountability from the corrupt element within our government. The government itself is being run by a group of monetary elitists, industrial capitalists. They may not even be American. They're people in the World Bank, at the IMF, that pull the strings here in America through that thing they call the Federal Reserve. So yeah, we're going to try to prevent that from happening. Now, you'll notice that Donald Trump doesn't talk about ending the Fed. Hillary Clinton would never end the Fed. Neither one of them want to legalize marijuana. I want to do that. And the fact is, the American people don't even have a goal to solve the problem other than voting two parties. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So obviously a third party is the logical conclusion. Okay, my Trump discussion doesn't exist here. So when you ask me to talk about Donald Trump's tax plan, I haven't even reviewed it. He's not even on my radar. The reason I don't care is because I have had a fair flat tax plan of 10-10 for the past 5 years, since 2010. In fact, we came out with our plan right before Herman Cain came out with his. So I've been running a 10-10 plan. You tell me what his plan is. Donald Trump has already said he's not going to run as a third-party candidate. That's already been made very clear. He wrote a statement to that effect, and if he goes back on it, he will be a known liar. He committed to the GOP. He's already made that move. And I can assure you, like I said, he would not end the Fed. He will not do anything to stop the wars that are going on. In fact, Donald Trump wants to send us into Syria, ground troops, mind you. I mean, can you imagine falling into the hands of these World Bank elitists? That's what Donald Trump is doing. He is their puppet. He wants to start a war over in Syria and with Iran. I mean, this guy is the most hawkish person out there. So if you think that's something you want to do, then you're voting for the wrong guy, and you're voting to cause a war, which will end up in your life or your family's life dying. David, are you a model? No, I'm not. Should I be? Should I just model clothes for a living, or I could model black? You have remote viewed it, really? Wow. Wow, Refried Bacon thinks that Donald Trump is going to fake a heart attack 3 weeks before the election. You remote viewed it. You know, I think you're right. Your remote viewing is crystal clear. You are a hot babe, Dave. Thank you. Okay. Meow TV made a very prophetic statement. He said, you're working for Trump without even knowing it. He put on CNN main page all your ideas, telling them that those are his. I know. Yeah, I've seen him plagiarize every single one of our ideas, Meow TV. That's like saying you willingly had your purse stolen by the heroin addict who ran down and bought heroin with it. I mean, no one willingly has their ideas stolen. This man, Donald Trump, is a stealer, a liar, a corrupt pig, and he's a borrower too. You know, I'd rather be a beggar than a borrower, you know, literally. But I'm not a beggar. I am kind of begging. I'm begging for you to wake up, because if we don't wake up before it's too late, we're literally going to be sent to those awful places. I have one on tap right here for you. It's a FEMA camp in a small area called Beech Grove, Indiana. It's actually a railway station that's been converted to what appears to be like incinerators and a concentration camp. But that's where we're going to end up, all of us, if we don't stop this tyranny of the two-party system. And I hate to scare you in a big way, but you should be scared. Any national disaster could turn this entire facility into a prison camp. And the reason why I know that is because they've actually taken pictures of this early on when it was first developed. And it shows lots of different high-tech capabilities that you can't see from the pictures I can take you on Google Maps. They've got turnstiles to control people, literally hoarding them, moving them right into a specific area.
There was also a surveillance camera, just like we saw at the FEMA facility, pointing out to the parking lot.
Now, this picture was taken in 2000 or actually 1992. But the current pictures of this facility are kind of shocking. I was going to go down here and see if I can find the rail cars, the human rail cars. Yeah, they're always fun to look at. Oh, there they are. Yeah, scaled down, ready to go. Yeah. Apparently these rail cars hold 2 levels of chained people, chained to the wall with handcuffs. Yeah. Cool, huh? Sounds kind of fishy, yeah. Dave, you're always on during my WWE shows. That's okay. Don't worry. You can always watch us in YouTube, recorded broadcasts. All our broadcasts are on YouTube, and you can catch them the day after. Hello there, Oshin Mishina from Nara, Japan. Welcome to the show. We've got a lot of Japanese people coming into our show for a good reason. I'm not censored in Japan. I'm censored in the United States. Many people don't realize that in 2008, I realized our nation was completely headed toward this controlled detention center mentality, police state. So much so that I realized that I couldn't get any mainstream media attention at all in the 2008 or the 2012 election. But in 2008, I realized the best thing for me to do is to do a blackface impersonation of Barack Obama to get notice. And it worked. Thankfully, the people of Japan have recognized this as a legitimate satirical comedic piece, which is exactly what it was. Impersonating the president, calling myself broke, insane Obamas. And thankfully, the Japanese people gave me some airtime recently in the major television shows. So I'm getting airtime around the world now, and thankfully it's coming from Japan. So isn't that ironic that we don't have any freedom in America? I've been completely shunned in the mainstream media. The only time they talked about me was when I did an interview recently when we were swatted. Our entire show was swatted. And they came to my home and they had this thing and they framed it as if it was some, well, you can listen to it right now. In my neighborhood,
The SWAT team had a controversial politician surrounded Friday night. They raced to his house thinking he'd stabbed his girlfriend to death, but it was a prank call. Authorities are looking for a man who called in the fake hostage situation.
And that call resulted in a SWAT situation outside the home of a third-party presidential candidate on Whidbey Island. Cover 7's Natasha Chen found out this is not the first time that candidate has been targeted.
Process was, she was ahead of me and she had to lay down, and then I had to lay down, and then they cuffed me.
One moment, David Sponheim was inside his home doing his nightly video chat with supporters. The next moment, he was on the ground in his driveway with SWAT surrounding him.
It was almost surreal.
It was all because of this call.
Okay, you said you just stabbed your girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well listen, what's your name?
That wasn't him, but the caller gave dispatch Sponheim's address. This is not the first time Sponheim says he's been the victim of a hoax. Several years ago, he said there was a bomb threat. Then 2 months ago in June, someone called in a threat, again pretending to be him.
It's evil in the sense that it's a sick joke, it's a sick hoax that people are trying to, they think it's funny.
Even though Sponheim says he gave the sheriff deputies his phone number during the last hoax, the sheriff told me they somehow didn't store it in their system. Sponheim says detectives should have realized it was a prank because they even got on Sponheim's live video chat to ask his partner to call 911. I asked Sponheim whether he's being targeted because of videos he's done in blackface.
It's ironic people don't understand that this country was founded on and predicated on freedom of speech, and my right to impersonate the president was paramount.
But he and the sheriff are frustrated at how these pranks wasted important resources.
You can't possibly expect to get away with it. There's a lot of weirdos out there that are going to come out of the closet thinking that they can take a pot shot at somebody like me.
Okay, so that's the only time they gave me. And I got to tell you, that's not enough. I'm sorry, but there's a bigger story here, and they framed it around the racial issue. And they've never even given me any time on that issue either. So it's pretty obvious it was a race-baiting event for the Cairo TV opportunity, and they wanted to paint me out as some sort of a, whatever. It just doesn't look like they're interviewing me at all. They just took 12 seconds of a 20-minute interview. That's all I got. The echo is surreal. 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 All right, let's move on. We do want to talk about the idea of artificial control of the atmosphere. There you go, that's right. It was very stressful. I'm still rebounding from the event and processing it. I'm not sure exactly what the next step is, but I'd like the local officers to change their protocol so that they check to make sure if somebody actually is calling in by calling me in advance on a phone number that they have on file. That would be all I need. And they seem to be having a problem with that, so we're going to be patient and just hope that they finally understand that you can't give these cyber stalkers any power by doing what they want, which is to have the state or the city send out a $30,000 SWAT team. That's how much that event cost the state or the city. Yo, what's going on? So if you're not concerned about HAARP and about the chemtrail activity in the sky, then you're probably not a person who should be in our show right now. Many people constantly come in whenever I talk about chemtrails in the sky, and they say, "Oh no, you're a whack job. These are contrails." That's what they say, but they're not. These things are actually chemtrails that are being distributed around the atmosphere to control the weather using radio frequencies, electromagnetic stimulation of our atmosphere. They're able to send pulses of electromagnetic information or energy through the air, and that changes the direction of the wind, the precipitation of the clouds, and it can alter weather so drastically that you would actually say, wow, global climate change is really happening. Thank you, man. Defender of love. Right on, man. He's going to vote for me. So they want us to believe that these things are just, contrails, that we should just not worry about them. I get them all the time in my area. So we got a problem on our hands. The fact is the government won't even admit to doing this. And the FAA doesn't even know sometimes when the jets are flying over certain airspace. They don't even get it. So you guys will never get Donald Trump to talk about chemtrails. You'll never get him to end the Fed. You'll never get Donald Trump to talk about the dangers of GMOs or even vaccinations. Has Donald Trump talked about vaccinations at all? Does anybody know? Because I know a lot of people are in the room, closet Trumpites. Has he made a comment that he wouldn't want forced vaccinations? Can someone get back to me on? A lot of you are Trump experts. You know the 5 hit points that he stole from me. He did. He doesn't want vaccinations, or he does want them, because I think they're very potentially dangerous, and parents should have the right to say no. It just don't exist. Okay, Fester. Yeah, no mainstream media ever addresses any of these things. Yeah, I know. That's why we're doing the show. The major announcement from Mars was well known in advance. Everyone's known that there's water on Mars. There's actually water throughout the universe. So it's not a big thing. Saying there's water on Mars is like telling the Vatican that there are many planets and many suns in the universe. That cost a certain person his life. And I'm not speaking of Copernicus or Galileo. A person came in my room recently and talked about a certain person named Giordano Bruno, who was a contemporary of Copernicus. And I have some information. I'll be talking about that later tonight, discussing this great philosopher and religious leader that was condemned and actually imprisoned for 7 years by the Vatican and tortured because he simply said that there are many universes and there are many suns and there are many Jesuses too. He said that. So that cost him his life and 7 years in prison by the Vatican. The Vatican, by the way, did say they were sorry to the family of Galileo a couple years ago for imprisoning him for believing that there's a sun and stars. So yeah, to say that there's water on Mars is like, yeah, there's water on almost every planet. But thanks for asking. All right, let's move on. The water on Mars is a conspiracy. They really found beer, but won't tell us because we all go to Mars and drink all the beer. Wow. You know, here's a conspiracy for you, and I challenge anyone to find a single bit of a beer out there, any beer that uses filtered water. I challenge anyone out there to find a beer that uses filtered water. No microbrewery announces on any bottle that there's filtered water. So in other words, all the beer that's made in America is ostensibly tap water. No, nobody filters water. There's not one single beer on the market. I've checked. That's all I do. I look at beer. I go to the market and check. Oh, I don't drink. I just look at the bottles. No filtered water. You're from Uranus, not from Neptune. Here I am in Japan. Well, I can't see that link, but thank you for putting that out there. Thank you. So we want to deal with the chemtrail issue. I believe that they're artificially engineering a drought in California. And in the evening later on, after our show at 9, we play videos that talk about artificial engineering of droughts throughout the world. One guy went so far as to spot all kinds of anomalies in the feeds from NOAA about the atmosphere. He saw how the NOAA was literally putting a loop in the atmospheric feed every time they dispersed a cloud of water that was heading toward California. And he actually did a lot of detailed research. We'll be playing that later tonight. We'll also be talking about the dangers of Fukushima and how that's spinning out of control and how they haven't really bothered to fix it. The Fukushima problem is incredibly messed up, and no word from our government or from Barack Obama on Fukushima since it happened 4 years ago. Okay, beer cheer filtered. Okay, let me check it out. Because I'm trying to find a filtered beer and I can't find one. I would meet with Putin. I could meet digitally. We could have a telepresence communication, the two of us. Microsoft and Cisco Systems does a thing called telepresence where we can talk one-on-one. It looks just like we're there. I don't need to fly to Moscow and he doesn't need to fly to New York. It's amazing that he did call for this meeting with Barack Obama, though, but because of the simple fact that He needed to. And Obama, he could care less. He's merely a puppet for the people that want to start a war in Syria, which Putin doesn't even understand why we're there. Yeah, you're right. Socialism is really about giving me your money, or else I can keep part of it and then dole it out the way I see fit. And that's a problem. Thank you. So there is a thing called beer cheer filtered. Okay. Well, a lot of people believe that the filtering of the hops itself is a filtration process, but it's not carbon filtration of the water itself. So they could put swill, tap water with urethane and fluoride in it. They could do any number of things. I mean, we're dealing with a world that doesn't bother to even prepare the water that's going into the drink that you drink, the soda you drink. Matt Husuni, welcome. We're going to translate some of the things you're saying. You are a great guy. Thank you. Arigato. So kind of you to say. You are a great guy. Yes, thank you. Okay, newsflash. Obama issued a stern warning to Christians, warning them that their attempts to assert their religious liberty to oppose gay rights would fail. Isn't this amazing? You know, the big answer to the marriage crisis about same-sex marriage right now is very simple. It's not that complicated. All we have to do is not give marriage contracts out. You see, the Supreme Court ruling is specific. If, and only if, a state issues a marriage contract, then they can't discriminate. So why issue a marriage contract? Fast forward to today. Fukushima, beyond urgent. We'll play this in the background while I talk. Yes. Yes, you're here. I'm translating. Red Pig Ale is full-bodied ale, offers a pleasant high bitterness with smoke, creamy head, with a good carbonation with excellent. I'm not talking about a particular brand. Not one brand except for a hard apple cider called Crispin. Not only one actually filters water. It's called Crispin hard apple cider. There's Fukushima for you. Alert, alert, alert. There's a disaster happening. That's the only one I found out of any of the beers out there. This is it. And I have rolled out there looking for stuff because I want to know how fluoridated the American people are. And that's the only thing that has filtered water. It's made in California. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, there is a conspiracy. It's called fluoridating the population. They did it under Germans' time. This is a woman that's very concerned, Caldecott. She has stated that Fukushima may very well be 800 times worse than Chernobyl. At its worst. You see, the more it leaks down that hill, Fukushima, Mount Fukushima, the more the water leaches into the Pacific Ocean. I saw the lunar eclipse, Sheriff John Brown. Yeah, Sarah and I went out on our way home. We pulled up into our driveway and it was right in front of us. So we got out and we looked at it and it was fantastic. It truly is one of the things that we want to always remember. The blood moon. So there's a 5% grade from Mount Fukushima in Japan that goes right down into the water there. And this is where the water comes down from the hill and drains into the Pacific Ocean. And it goes right through the reactor vessels. And a lot of the groundwater is contaminated now. So we got to deal with this. And I know our government hasn't bothered to even begin the process. So I'm running on a campaign of awareness to talk about everything, including Fukushima. Some people in America say, well, what does it have to do with us? Well, Pacific Ocean is dying. It has a lot to do with us. Let's take a look at this statement. and the radiation of our land is ruined, why does America care? It is the Pacific Ocean that is now in danger. Read that. Let me translate it for you. Hello. Okay, this would be your answer. Okay, let's move on. Your MRI on your noodle showed you had a couple of calcified areas of the size of beads? Really? On your noodle? What happened? Are you one of those people that develop kidney stones? What's going on, Bengalitis? Are you having a medical crisis? I'm a pretty fast chat reader, I must say, yes. Can't sleep every day thinking how David can have bleep bleep with sex on. Okay, I can't have sex with clothes on. Other people can. There is a possibility that two people sitting next to each other could unzip certain parts of their body or their clothing and begin to have sex. So that's the answer to your question. I would think you would know that. Back in the 1800s, people very rarely took their clothes off during coitus interruptus. Okay. Yeah, there's dead zones out there, and I don't want the Earth to be a dead zone. I'm a little concerned about that. So anything we can do to raise the bar of awareness about Fukushima, do it. Say you're at the dinner table and you're having dinner and everyone's in a good mood. Be the first to say, oh, by the way, all the food here is radiated. And don't say anything else. Everything will kick off, a conversation will start moving, and then once it reaches a climax, then say, oh, by the way, a third party wants to solve this problem. That's all you got to do. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, we have bigger problems to deal with. They're called the environmental crisis the Earth is facing right now. And unlike the Republicans who won't even touch this issue of environmental catastrophe because it sounds like global climate change, I will not only touch the issue, I want to go all out and discuss every aspect of improving our Earth. Tonight we can talk about the conspiracy to kill off the Earth, which is going on to simply depopulate the population. Yeah, they really don't care about you. You met that Michael Jackson song? They really don't care about us? That's the truth. They don't. I did watch it, Bengalitis. Sparkles, don't get confused. Just sit back. Sparkles, we are constantly facing censorship. America's Third Party has been battling for 7 years to get noticed in any way by the mainstream media, and they continue to use censorship to block us. So I'm not in any way concerned. I'm going to be in this for a long haul. And as you can see, I'm not aging, so it's great. It's the one benefit of running for office from my home is I don't have to face, tremendous amount of toxicity traveling around the world. I know people that travel and who've now got brain cancer from all the radiation in the atmosphere. No, I don't believe that the seed vault in Svalbard is safe from Monsanto. No, Troy. I think the seed vault in Svalbard is dangerously close to being cross-contaminated. Yeah, I wouldn't seriously accept any seeds at this point because there's so much cross-contamination going on. So the seed vault is safe, but is in jeopardy of being cross-contaminated. Stay young, vote third party, right? So this is the deal. We're going to try to help the Earth and solve problems and at the same time help this country make money, help the country lead by example in areas of environmental cleanliness, but certainly not run around starting wars like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton want. This attack on ISIS, this constant fear-mongering that the people are, Republicans and Democrats are constantly fear-mongering, it's all made up, it's pumped up. all those fake beheadings that were engineered with green screen backgrounds, that's all part of a plan to turn us into warmongers and maintain more war around the world. You see, there's a big plan. It's to keep this war going because technically they don't really know what else to do. They don't have any new ideas like I do. They don't have a brain. They're simply working off of a study by the Rand Corporation in 1975. And they found out that when they studied what would happen if America was not at war, the results were so disturbing that they couldn't publish them. So through the Freedom of Information Act, they finally published them, and we found out that our government has to stay at war in order to maintain economic growth. They keep borrowing money to finance the operation of our country. So when they run out of credit, they start another war instead of fixing the problems. Hey, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't talk about sex here, okay? It's bad enough we're being brainwashed with fluoride. Many of you don't even have an erection because you're on so much controlled medication from Big Pharma that you can't even get it up. And some of us are just plain old, tired of the disgusting discussion about sex. I myself don't have any problems in that department, but I know a lot of people that have to take a Viagra just to get it up for their girlfriend. It's like, honey, I think it's time to take my Viagra because we're going out, and if you really want to have planned sex later, it's going to have to be now. I mean, you can only imagine. I've never taken Viagra. Do a drug test. But a lot of people are suffering from erectile dysfunction, and women are suffering from a lack of libido. Banana sex is becoming more to be literally used to control congressmen and senators.
You have to take the trauma and compartmentalize it. And
Kathy told me how she would write her memories. And when you do that, you're using logic to move a pen. And so it will actually shift and break down the walls and open the doors. And that process, along with becoming healthy and taking the proper vitamins to make my brain fire correctly.
There you go. See, she said something really important. Taking the vitamins so her brain fires correctly. Do you guys wake up and feel listless and bored? You don't have to answer that. Do you feel a little bit kind of dehydrated and evaporated? Disappeared right before my eyes. It's like he went into a wormhole or a black hole of some sort. He wasn't dating or anything. David, the guy who thought he was an alien show you his bleep? No, he never had any kind of an advance on me like Rock Hudson, He wasn't like walking up hitting on me like Rock Hudson did before he died. I believe that Ryan Williams was there, but I'm not sure. I don't want to lie. I think my biggest butt is you. You're getting out of here. You're getting purged right now. David, are you an alien? No, I am not. There's something else to worry about besides the existence of aliens. And something far more pernicious. The possibility is there that robocops will exist in the near future. Seriously, I kid you not. The reality of a cybernetic organism literally stopping at your doorstep and walking up to you and saying something like this. Hello, I am a cybernetic organism, human flesh over metal exoskeleton. I am here to check to see if any THC is in your home. Please, by order of the government's legal ramifications of Article 475-324, I have the permission to enter your home and RFID chip everyone in the house. You think I'm kidding? It really could happen. So we not only have to worry about aliens, we have to worry about an unbelievable bizarre roboticized world where we've got our government literally embracing drones, 30,000 drones over our head by 2020. So it's really kind of scary. You got the RoboCop thing happening. You got possibility. I mean, boring. This is not boring at all. But you were born in a time when. Yeah, thank you. You were born in a time when. I guess there's an old Chinese proverb. Confucius say, "May you be born in strange times." And we have been born in strange times. It's from